What is going on, guys? I hope you all are doing amazing. I'm back with another video, and I think this is going to be a really, really good and impactful one. And the reason I'm saying this is because what I'm going to be going through in this video is applicable to every single type of business. All right, you need to know and understand this framework no matter what company it is that you're running. And what I'm referring to is, of course, product market fit. Now, I think a lot of people overcomplicate business, and I think you only get to understand this once you've tried a bunch of things and failed a bunch. Business at its core really comes down to just you finding product market fit and then knowing how to scale after you found it effectively. And so most people don't even get to the stage of finding product market fit. You waste a ton of time, energy, effort, etc. To just really not get anywhere. The quicker you're able to implement it into your own company, the quicker you'll be able to really scale and make a ton of money. So that's why I feel it's necessary to make a video on this, because I wish I would have had this when I started, because that would have made my life a lot easier and saved a lot of effort and troubles for myself. And you know, it's funny, we in the company that I run, we get to work with a lot of really cool companies from small, medium to enterprise level, and having product market fit has got nothing to do with the level or scale that you're at, or even where you're at in your personal entrepreneurial capacity. Some people are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and they still might not have product market fit because they have raised over 7 figures and they're pushing money into this marketing machine that is not optimized for their product, and they're generating revenue, but they're running it at a loss, or they're spending more to acquire people than what they're actually making, right? So it's not just applicable to people when you're starting out. You could still have made a good amount of money and not have product market fit. So again, exactly why I'm going to be breaking down this simple framework of how to find it, how to know when you have product market fit at every stage of discovery, and what to do after you've found product market fit in your company. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. Again, breaking it down to its core, at its simplest form, business is a function of these 5 elements or mechanisms. And these are the 5 elements or the 5 processes that you go through to find product market fit. And it is very, very important to do these in order. And I will tell you why later in a bit more depth. But all you have to know for now is that they're all dependent on one another. So really, really important that you're able to go through this process in order. You can't jump between them. So the first step or first element is finding a niche, right? Now, niche, I think a lot of times people think they found a niche, but they don't really have a niche. And it's extremely important because it's literally the foundation. Nothing else is going to work without it. Most people go way too broad and they say, oh, I help SaaS founders, or I help fitness enthusiasts. What does that mean? You're not specific at all. I still don't know who exactly you're helping. Am I your ICP? Am I not? I like fitness, like be more specific. So many people are way too broad. And I think maybe it's because, the correct definition of a niche is not that widely understood. But yeah, the issue across the board is that people are just way too broad. These things aren't a niche, it's a guess. So you're basically trying to throw a fish net into the ocean and you're trying to catch salmon, right? And you're hoping that salmon comes to you. But you might be catching sardines and this and that, and then you have to throw them out at the end of the day because it's not actually what you want. And this is exactly what you're doing when you're not ultra specific with who your niche is. and a proper niche is defined by these 7 key components. So these are the 7 components. 1 is the location. 2 is the industry or vertical that your ideal client is in. 3 can be the role. 4 is size or income level. So if it's an individual, is it someone making between 100 and 150K a year? If it's a company, are they between 15 and 30 people? So that's basically all that is. Current state, so where they're at right now. Their desired state, where they want to be, and their problems. So the problem is basically what is hindering them from getting from where they're at right now to their desired state. So in an ideal world, you'd have all this figured out to the T. And when your niche is clear, you can speak directly to your audience's specific pain, goals, and language, which means higher engagement, higher quality leads, and faster conversions. You don't waste time on unqualified leads, aka the sardines, when you're trying to catch salmon. And your authority and trust will compound faster, and you'll be able to dominate and become the go-to person in that niche, which will make for easier referrals and a better inbound lead flow. So a bad example of a lead is busy professionals who want to get fit, right? That, again, way too broad. You're still going to attract people that might not be who you actually want to help or who you actually can help. A good example of this, when you're narrowing it down, would be finance professionals in their 30s working 9 to 5 jobs, earning 100 plus K, who want to get back in shape but struggle with time and energy. That is a true niche, all right? That is what you want. All you have to do, if you don't have that right now, is apply these 7 things and go figure out exactly who it is that you're trying to sell to or who it is that you want to sell to, and make up a good niche. I think if you don't have that right now, just changing that is already going to make a world of a difference for you. So now once you have it, how do you test it, right? If you're genuinely at the beginning stage of starting a company, how do you test your niche? If you don't have a product, you don't have a price, none of that. So there's 3 main ways that you would usually test a niche. One is paid ads. Paid ads are good because they're very scalable. You get instant feedback, and it's pretty easy to test multiple. So you can A/B test pretty quickly. So that's kind of why a lot of people do choose that. But again, the downside here is that you need to have a decent amount of money to put into it to get to the result that you want. Now, the second thing you can do is cold outreach. And I say 0 or low cost. 0 if you're manually doing it, and low cost if you're using a smart lead or something like that to scale your outreach to more people. And the benefit of this is that you can get very user-specific feedback from the people that do actually answer you, and you can ask very direct and very, very specific questions to your potential, ICP or your potential niche. And the third thing is communities. It's great for multi-user feedback, so you can go on like Reddit or Facebook groups of people that might fall part of your niche and go ask questions there, and you'll be able to get a number of people giving you feedback a little quicker than cold outreach. And both of these are either free or low cost. Those are really main 3 things that you can do. Now, a thought on this whole process in the first step is, and this is very important for you to remember when you're doing this and when you're trying to find a niche, is you don't create the niche, you discover it through these processes, right? And you test different ones. This is interchangeable. You test different ones, discover it through these processes. You then understand it and serve that niche. And your goal is obviously to do it better than anyone else. So that's really that in terms of finding it. And this process could take a while, but you will know when when you found the correct niche for you. You'll get good feedback, like really, really good feedback. You might even get people to ask you, where can I get this? Like, how do I pay for this? That's when you know you have a really, really good niche before you even have a product. So if the interest is there and you find that people like have an actual desire, whether it's from an ad to opt in or they're replying to an email saying, yes, this is a huge issue for me, I would love this to be solved, that's when you know you have a good niche, right? Based on whatever it is that you want to sell. Now, once you have the niche, you're going to figure out the transformation, because in your niche, you'll understand what their current state is, what their desired state is, and what the problems are from this discovery phase that are hindering them from getting to their desired state. So your transformation is a clear result your niche wants, right? It's not about features, it's about change. You need to ask what's there before and what's there after. And this is kind of just a representation of you want to take them from their current state through this transformation, which that is what you're going to be selling, and how that's going to take them to their desired state. Great transformations include tangible outcomes, revenue speed, clarity, emotional shifts, confidence or momentum, and or identity upgrades from stuck to in control. So good real life examples of these are like Peloton, for example. And don't just sell home workouts, it's boutique, results, connections, status. And Shopify, you're not just building an online store. There are a ton of website builders out there. You're going from side hustle to, I think this just cut out here, side hustle to empire. There we have it. So that's really what they're selling. Now, again, thoughts on this. When you define the transformation, everything else, pricing, mechanism, positioning, which is the next couple of steps, will become a lot more obvious. So once you have a niche and you know what transformation they need in order to get to the goal, and you know what transformation you're going to sell them, the rest of the steps should be a lot easier. So that then being said, leading into the next step, which is price. So price is always going to be based on the value of the transformation that your niche is willing to pay, not how fancy your solution is. So what I mean by this is they're going to pay for getting to their end goal. They don't care how it's done. All they want is the end goal, and you're selling them basically the solution to get there. They don't care how fancy or simple it is, as long as it gets them there. So imagine 2 CRM tools, right? Tool A costs $300 a month. It's really, really good at sales attribution. So you'll be able to see everyone's email, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn that you interact with, and it creates this beautiful sort of attribution flow of when you connected with them, when you first reach out, etc., when you need to follow up. And you have 2B, which is $600 a month. It's a lot more basic, where you just kind of have sales pipelines, but they have added contract setup, email marketing, Gmail integration, API access, etc., a bunch more features. So if you're a small sales team with a long sales cycle and multiple touch points, which one out of these two do you think would be better, right? Just take 2 seconds, read over it again. Which one do you think would be more applicable to this ICP? It's going to be tool A, right? Because they're looking to be able to attribute these multiple touch points, and it's a small team, so they don't want to pay a lot. And what they need is just really good sales specific CRM and good sales attribution. So of course, tool A is going to deliver the outcome better, and it's more valuable to them no matter what the feature count is. Like, if you don't need contract setup, email marketing, Gmail integration, you're not going to pay $300 more for it just because it has it, right? So, and this is the mistake that a lot of people make. They build a nicer, more feature-rich product, and they assume that they can charge more because of it. But the market doesn't pay for complexity, it pays for results, i.e. what you get, not how you get it. So it doesn't matter how good your UI looks, how many features, integrations the product has. If it doesn't solve for the transformation of your niche, people are not going to pay the price for it. And price is literally just a reflection of how much your transformation is worth to your niche. So your price can simply be justified by how valuable the transformation is that your niche wants to achieve. So of course, the more valuable that the transformation is that you're selling, the more that your niche is going to be willing to pay. So if the problems that they're experiencing and the problems that you can solve is really, really, really important to them, you're going to be able to charge a lot more and your sales cycles are going to be shorter. But if it's not that important to them, you cannot justify the price just by adding more things into it, right? So it's really important to just focus on that as a core. So moving on to the next element, which is mechanism. So mechanism is basically your product, your service, and most founders build this first. But without validating your niche, transformation, and your price, you risk building something nobody wants or that nobody can afford. A lot of people, especially tech companies and SaaS companies, they would build this amazing product, and again, beautiful UI, feature rich, but they don't know who they're selling it to and what they're actually solving. It's like, oh, I'm building an AI product. Oh, that's cool. Raise money. Now what? You don't know where you're going with that money. You don't know what you're going to spend it on. And even, okay, I want to do web development. Now I'm putting my services out there everywhere. I build websites. Okay, who? For who? What is this website gonna provide for me? What does it cost? You need to have the first three things very, very dialed to like as much as you really can. And again, in an ideal world, you would have that before you even have the exact product to sell. But once you have those three, you'll know exactly what people want, and you know exactly what you need to sell to give the result and get the price that you're looking to get for it. So a good mechanism delivers the promised transformation. It can scale without killing your margins, which is again really, really important. And it doesn't break when you get 5, 10, 50, 100 clients, right? It's a scalable model. So in order for this to be true, you need to validate your mechanism on two fronts. One is the demand side. Does it actually deliver the outcome your niche wants? And the other is the efficiency side. Can you deliver it profitably even before spending on marketing? So this efficiency side, are you able to deliver it profitably before spending on marketing? That cost is called your contribution margin. And this is basically what's left after delivering your delivering costs, so tools, fulfillment, team, etc., before you spend on marketing. Now, if you're charging $1,000 and it costs $800 to deliver or fulfill this product, you only have $200 left to acquire a customer and grow and make your bottom line margin on it. That's a broken model. It's not going to work. So either you're going to have to increase this price if people are going to be willing to pay it, or you have to decrease your contribution margin, because you can see how this is not going to work out in the long run. Now, an ideal contribution margin depends from industry to industry. So like e-com might be sitting around 40%, agency 50 plus, SaaS obviously a lot higher, it can be around 80. So it really does depend. Like there's no perfect number, but it does depend a lot on your industry. But if you're interested to know what a good contribution margin is, you could literally just go search it up and it should tell you where you should be sitting at. And then once you know that for your industry, you need to go and do it, if you haven't done already, the calculations on like understanding what your contribution margin is, what it costs, how much you're charging, and what it costs for you to fulfill, to understand what your margin is over there, right? And a lot of businesses also fail here. So they have a great offer, but messy or inexpensive delivery systems. So when they scale, they implode. A strong mechanism is a system that works, scales, and keeps you profitable. So the mechanism is should be the easiest part when you've done the first three, but it's usually the most difficult and annoying part for people that start here, because like I just went through this with you guys, is if your contribution margin is too low and you try and scale and spend on marketing, you're going to fail. So if you have those first three steps down, then the mechanism will be the easiest part. Going into the last step is your access channel. So access, how you reach and convert your niche. But access only works when your system works. Otherwise, you're just pouring leads into a broken funnel. Very, very important. So this is, again, another big problem that a lot of companies face. They just want to spend more on marketing, but like they don't actually test, change, and analyze like what is going on in the funnel and where the problems lie. So they're spending more on marketing to try and get more people in, but the quality of leads are terrible. Lead flow is just a hit or miss. Sometimes great, sometimes not. And of those great, the times that you have good lead flow, lead quality is terrible. So it's just an absolute mess. So again, a lot of people, you have the product and then you want to scale the product. Like that's it. You skip the first three, which is a big problem. And you can see why now, right? So before you even attempt to touch your access channels and scale it, you have to validate that you can deliver profitably, your margins are good, and you're not scaling inefficiently, right? Then you're going to test, once you validated that, you're going to test the different access channels. So this can be outbound at scale, paid ads, content, events, partnerships, etc., etc. Whatever you want to test. Then once you have all that, you're going to figure out what the best access channel is for you, your niche, your company, where people are at. But you should have a pretty good idea already. But now you know you have something that works, something that people want. You will have good margins, and you will just print money once you are able to crack this access channel and actually scale it. Thoughts on this? Just simply, you don't start here. You should end here. Once the fire is lit and you have good product, people want it, solves the problem, healthy margins, you're not going to break when you scale. You have to pour fuel on it. Then you can pump money into scaling your product or service, because now you have genuinely, if you've completed those first couple of steps, you've found product market fit, right? Now you can just scale and wait for the money to come in. I know it's not that, of course, that straightforward, but you understand what I mean. It makes your life way, way easier just following that simple framework. So just a last couple of things, common pitfalls that I have seen a lot that people have is, of course, we've spoken about this already, too broad of a niche, just bad leads, low conversions, selling features, you have unclear value, people not going to convert, you're pricing like competitors, so if you're just trying to beat their price, it's going to be a race to the bottom, because then they'll come in and beat your price again, and so on and so forth. You're going to be killing your margins, and this is not going to end out well for you. You've overbuilt the product, can't scale it, too hard to scale, or if you need a ton of people involved in it, your contribution margin is messed up, you're not going to be able to scale it efficiently. Also a big issue that I see, and then single channel dependency, huge platform risk. Like we literally have a client that he was solely dependent on Instagram for his income. Well, this is before he came to us. He was solely dependent on Instagram for his income or his acquisition channel, and then he got shadow banned. Then he was in a bit of a situation, to say the least. And then it was a scramble to try and figure out, test a bunch of other acquisition channels. So yeah, not in a situation that you want to be in at all, trust me. So just to end off, it's important to understand and know that this is a chain, right? It's all interlinked and they're all dependent on each other. And the order really does matter. And hopefully, as I've gone through it, you can see why you have to solve the one before to be able to understand the next step and the next part of the process. If you break one, the whole process is going to collapse. It's also important to know that this is not a short or easy process. Like, we've seen this take anywhere from 4 to 18 months to do. So I don't think it's going to take you 2 weeks and you're going to figure it out and then you're done, you're able to scale, and then there we go. Not going to work, right? And even after you've found product market fit and you're busy scaling through your access channels, you can continuously improve and refine each element of your process. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video and it made sense to you, and I broke it down at a high enough level that you're able to understand it after the first listen. If not, I do recommend you saving this somewhere or taking a screenshot of this, however you want to do it, to go back and like check your business against this framework. Even if you swear high and low you have it, trust me, just still go ahead and do it. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And I have another couple of really, really good videos in the pipeline. So I look forward to releasing that to you very, very soon. Take care.